are you? I'm going to be doing your reading for the week of March 1st, which is today. So happy March. Getting closer to our birthdays. Thank goodness. I'm going to start by pulling 3 cards here for us to read at the end for advice and energies. So can I get, please, 3 cards face down for Aries for the week of March 1st, 2020. So this week, Venus moves into Taurus and out of Aries. I actually didn't even really feel Venus in Aries, maybe because she was just getting hammered by Saturn and Pluto, which is going on now, actually. You may have like a moment of sort of, not depression, but just not getting what you want, that comes from that Venus square with Saturn, or a question about really more like, are you sure you want this? So that is happening. And then she moves into Taurus, which she loves. You know, that's kind of where she gets to take a break. And then Mercury retrogrades into Aquarius. And that's pretty much it this week. And then we have a full moon in Virgo on the 9th, but we'll pick that up later. So let's see what energies we have going on. We are on our second week of containment here. They canceled schools again for the second week. But life has pretty much returned to normal. Supermarkets are stocked again after people freaked out. You know, traffic is starting to pick up again. So good. Anyway, but it was funny that all this has been happening under a Pisces retrograde, because Pisces is obviously the sign of hospitals and containment. So that's why all this attention right now. So let's see what energy can Aries expect for the week of March 1st, 2020. Ooh. So secrets being revealed, also like heightened psychic energy. That may also be that Pisces energy going on. Let's see what other pieces we have here. This is usually learning about or realizing things from within, things coming out of the shadow, understanding who people are in the equation, what role they play. I did, however, see when I was shuffling before the other deck, the 7 of Swords. So we'll see where that comes into. Anyway, what are the challenges, please, for Aries for the week of March 1st, 2020? What are the challenges for Aries? March 1st, 2020. Oh, okay, I'll take that. That's the World card. So that's it. Kind of like putting the pieces together, the final piece in the puzzle. You know, when you do a puzzle and at first it's not clear what it is, and then you put in that, maybe you start with the corners and then you start filling it in the middle. And then as soon as you put one piece in there, it takes on a different form. Like all of a sudden it starts to take shape. So it looks to me like with this idea of mysticism and things being revealed and perhaps subconscious becoming conscious, or things that are in the shadow starting to be concrete, that the challenge is going to be putting the pieces of this puzzle together, starting to put things in order, starting to see things for what they are. So there may actually be a situation that you are confused about, that is not clear, that perhaps you don't want to see clearly, or perhaps needs another piece of information in order for it to materialize, to manifest, to be completed. Now, this is the World card, so it's sort of an ending of a cycle and moving into a new cycle. And as we saw in that first half reading, there's some really nice, you know, the energy at the beginning of the month started off a little wonky with the 5 of Cups. And so maybe this is like finally putting in, and then it gets good. There's the 2 aces that come after it. So maybe this is finally putting that last piece into the puzzle so that you can move on to something new, right? So there may be an opportunity to understand things, understand situations, looking at things from a higher level, as I said, getting sort of like a spiritual understanding of what's been happening and why things had to go the way they did, or why that piece can only fit, or how that piece fits into a much bigger puzzle. I forgot my deck, so give me 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. So what is the lesson for Aries for the week of March 1st? What is the lesson for this week? You know, and I mentioned things revealing themselves, so maybe you finally see what the last piece is. I'm not going to take those. You know, finally seeing how the machine works, like maybe the universe decides to reveal it to you decides to reveal itself to you somehow this week. Okay, interesting. Yeah, so this is the Mahatma Babaji, soul expansion. Your consciousness is expanding. You understand the connections between all things, right? So like I said, trying to finally be something being revealed. Sorry about that glare. Something being revealed, finally putting the pieces of the puzzle together, which expands your knowledge, right? So maybe you understand that relationship had to close because it was there to open up a different door, or maybe you learned something about yourself, or maybe it put you on a different path, or maybe you met another person who's going to unlock different doors. You know, again, and this also came up in that monthly reading, which is that the more we are stuck to our version of how the plan should go, the more we channel that 5 of Cups energy, because we allow ourselves to be disappointed that it doesn't unveil the way we think. You know, we may be trying to push a square peg into a round hole. And really, there's that piece is there specifically in a specific shape for a specific reason, and trying to make any situation anything else is pointless. So this is really about kind of tuning into a more spiritual energy, understanding that there are bigger plans at play, things that may not, you know, if you're still at the beginning of the puzzle, it may not be entirely clear why things are happening the way that they are happening. And sort of trusting, as I said, the universe may reveal itself to you. So it's consciousness expanding. Whatever sort of learning, new information that you get this week is that one piece that allows things to kind of click into place and be like, oh, okay, that's why. Or that's what that was for. Or that's why that needed to happen. You know, it's like, I had a multiple series of disappointments, professional, one after the other. And now that I've kind of gotten to a place doing what I'm quote unquote meant to be doing, I see now how each one of those situations contributed to exactly where I am now, and why things had to happen exactly the way that they did, because at each disappointment, what I learned was something to not repeat when it mattered, you know? So it's like in these 5 situations, it didn't really matter, but when it came game time, it's like, oh, well, remember that happened there, and that happened there, and that happened there. So let's make sure we think about that in this time that it counts. So to me, it's like finally getting some understanding, putting a final piece in a situation, or getting that key piece of information that allows you to see what it was, expanding your knowledge of how things work, how the dynamics work, how these constellations, how all those seemingly separate entities are actually all interconnected and make up a pattern, and explain a pattern. You know, I think about like the Rosicrucian symbol, which is the Venus star. And a lot of people in the Middle Ages thought it was this evil symbol of the devil. And really what it was what the astronomers had used to map the movements of the Venus star, that was the points that it would continue to hit year after year. And so it was only through the observation of those patterns were they able to say, okay, well then that is how Venus moves. Then there's people that misinterpret it and thought it was something else, but it was actually, so you're going to be getting the knowledge that lets you see what those movements lead up to, right? So being able to step back and saying, okay, so that hits that place every year, and that's its trajectory. That's the way it's going to play out. And that's the way it has to play out. And that's why it goes there. So let's see, the energy at the beginning of the week, please. Can I get the energy at the beginning of the week? Okay, one ring circus, but in reverse. We'll take a look at that in a minute. Let me get the energy for the end of the week, please. What's the energy at the end of the week? Okay, just the one. Okay, also in reverse, this is unexpected visitors. And you may remember in the reading, it talked about, remember my other reading, in the monthly reading, it talks about a second layer being revealed, right? It looks like one thing, but there's actually more to it, and that things might come up unexpectedly. So let's read these real quick just to see what they are. This is a 6 and this is a 5. Sorry, I was upside down. This is 15. So in the reverse, if you think that the sun won't rise without you, then it's time to change. Perhaps you believe no one will be there to help you, or you expect that you have to do all the work, emotional or otherwise. This is a fear-based idea and only serves to alienate you from others by taking away their right to participate. Receiving the One Ring Circus card may indicate the misuse of power. Give it up, let go of the need to control how the wind blows, so there's that message again, and let others play their part. You don't need to be invincible, have all the answers, or be the savior. Things will get done if you step out of your own way. So this is very much that control card that we got also in the monthly reading, which is we're trying to keep this One Ring Circus going. And actually there's more going on. And if we keep trying to see it as a specific, if we keep trying to see those movements as isolated instead of something as a whole, then we're going to be missing the entire point. Right. Okay. So I said that. Anyway, yet another meaning for this card suggests that someone else may be trying to control you. This needs to be addressed. Don't be afraid to set a boundary. This is a wonderful step to interdependence. Consider the example of two trees planted side by side, sharing the sunlight equally, neither overshadowing the other. Okay, now let's see this one here. So unpleasant news. Unpleasant news is only unpleasant when you resist accepting what it is. Sometimes the thing you most desired is kept away from you because it's not for the highest good of you or others. Sometimes there is a loss or disappointment due to a destiny whose pattern can't be understood yet. Oh, crazy, I just said that. Change is something that may be forced upon you, like bad weather that threatens a boat. Adapt to the shift in conditions and think how beautiful the sky will be afterwards. Accept what is, and a more fulfilling path will soon be revealed. Remember that if you expect the unexpected, nothing can come as a shock. Okay, so these are really echoing the monthly energies here. Yeah, so it looks like we might... If there may be some, like the word I keep getting is like radical acceptance, you know, that it is what it is. It can't be changed. You can take it or leave it, but trying to jam a piece of a puzzle into a space that doesn't fit is never going to work. And what happens is it actually ruins the integrity of the connections of the rest of the puzzle, because it puts weight. You know, it's like you've jammed it in there. We've all done this. No, like, I just want to finish this fucking puzzle, so I'm going to push this in. But then it puts pressure on all the pieces around it, and it ends up like having holes, pockets of air from the pressure that wrong piece is ejecting onto the rest of the situation. So what that actually means is this situation that you may be trying to control or trying to jam into a preconceived notion is actually going to be showing up. That pressure will show up in other parts of your life. And it's where the fault line is actually here. But it's putting pressure on other things. So there may be some sort of collateral symptoms of this situation, and you might be looking at the collateral symptoms without starting to connect the dots, right? And I feel like this week you might get that information that allows you to see the integrity, the wholeness of how whatever this controlling situation is playing out in a bigger sense, but also how the whole thing is working, right? So there's kind of two different situations there. Anyway, let's get 3 cards here. And remember, I did say I saw that 7 of Swords. So yes, there may be some unpleasant news coming and maybe somebody acting a little bit shady, but use that shadiness to gather clues, you know. So start to put the puzzle together from observable clues and patterns. Like, what are the patterns of movement? What keeps happening? And then take a step back from the patterns, the things that repeat, and say, okay, how do those work together? And this brings, again, to like a completion of understanding. It is that final piece where it's like the piece that we might be trying to jam in doesn't fit, but in understanding that gives us the right piece of the puzzle to complete it. I don't know if that makes sense. Anyway, let me get 3 cards, please, for Aries for the week of March 1st, 2020. 3 cards for Aries, week of March 1st. Okay, Knight of Swords. Yeah, so information kind of rushing in. 2 more cards, please, for Aries, week of March 1st. All right, I'll take that one. Oh, it came up again. And remember, it talked about the sun. This thing talked about the sun, the storm after the boat, right? That there's a storm on the sea. You have to learn how to navigate it. But then after that, the sun comes out. So yes, maybe sort of a rough and unexpected beginning. May also be, you see how this guy's kind of charging into here. So this is that sort of, let's say, dysfunctional control situation where it's like one person trying to keep this one ring circus going on. And this knight sort of charges in to topple that over. And then what comes out is kind of a brand new energy that instead of, it shines light, it's shining the light on a whole new state of being. Let me get one more card there. I never get the sun. I love it when it shows up. One more card, please, for Aries for March 1st, week of March 1st. One more card. All right, shit, I gotta take it. I didn't want to, but okay. So that's that. So lots of energy. That said, it's interesting when they show up together. because yes, it's okay that there's this toppling over may cause heartbreak, but remember the sun is right here in the middle. So that's kind of like, to me, the fact that it's in the middle of these, I would say less than chronologically, it's more like shining a light over this whole thing. Like this night's gonna come in and either cut out this other situation, right? Or the knight's gonna come in charging with a sword of clarity. And whatever this sword is unfortunately going to be a bit piercing and jarring. However, what it will reveal, it's whatever is said or whatever we come to be aware of, whatever that night comes charging in to bring us, is what's going to help us understand the bigger picture of here. And just as this card said, yes, there is a moment of storm, but the sun rises after. This is kind of like, it's there to remind us that this is only temporary, right? This is not a permanent state of being. The sun also rises. Now let's get some, I'm actually going to clarify. I want to clarify this Three of Swords. Why the Three of Swords? Which I haven't seen in a long time. Oh, okay. Well, that's clear enough. The Three of Swords is coming so it can put an end, right? Something's got to end, and the Knight's going to come in and knock it over. This Knight is going to come in and topple over this situation of control and put an end to it. So if it's whatever situation where there is a control problem, the Knight is going to knock it over. You may be heartbroken about it because that's not how you saw things going out or how you saw things ending up. But what it brings is closure, right? And then you got these two, because remember these are both major arcana. So we have the completion and the sun here. So all of this is being done for your highest good. So anything unpleasant that happens to you this week is for the highest good. It's to help you level up. It's to help you understand things from a different point of view, from a different dimension. So yes, so that's Seven of Swords, and this all makes, so things being revealed, understanding what piece of the puzzle is not working, understanding how the puzzle works together, what the patterns are, finally being able to connect the dots. And whatever ending that's starting now, and remember we did start the month even in that other reading with the Five of Cups. So, and there was 3 cups fallen down, and there's those 3 swords, right? So that disappointment is inevitable if we stay stuck to the preconceived notion that we have. If we let the sun shine a different light on it, we might see that actually it's creating an opportunity for rebirth, to start over. Remember, this is kind of all the 2 aces that we got in the monthly reading. So let's get a spirit animal card here for the week. And then we'll go into reading the energy for you. Okay, can I get an advice card for Aries for the week of March 1st, 2020, please? Energy for Okay, so actually this one came with 2 stuck again. So the first one is interesting because this was a 41 and this is a 41. So this one says the Nightingale spirit, love is all around. Okay, so this says to me, like, if you're not getting love from the one person that you want, to not to draw the conclusion that you are unlovable. I want to tell a story to 2 of my friends in the UK, who actually both ended up committing suicide, had a lifelong pattern of dating. One would only date men who were already engaged to other people. The other would only date men who were dramatically younger, right? And so emotionally unavailable. And the conclusions that they would draw from these choices, right, is that because no one was able to ever love them the way they wanted to, the conclusion that they drew was that they were unlovable, not that they were trying to jam the wrong piece into the wrong space, right? There wasn't ever a moment of reflection hey, wait a second, maybe I keep picking the wrong people, right? Maybe it's not me, maybe it's my choices or the people that I'm attracted to. And so this is what I say, don't avoid drawing major judgments or conclusions from individual situations. Like I said, that one trying to jam that piece into the puzzle creates pressure on the rest of the system. Take a step back and understand what's actually going on at a bigger level here, right? So it's not that married man doesn't love me, therefore I am not lovable. It's more that married man doesn't love me. Maybe I should love myself enough to stop breaking my own heart and pick people who are available to love me, right? So I'm not even going to read that because I already spent too much time on that. But so that's the advice, right? If you're in a position where you're not getting the love you want, the conclusion that love is not available to you is a faulty conclusion. Then the other one here says the groundhog spirit, and this talks about repetition and patterns, right? Because groundhog comes out every same day, Groundhog Day. Great movie. Talks about time to let go. And this is really echoing this 10 of Swords here, and this completion card here. That this is it seems like a very rich moment to get very, very clear, thanks to this Pisces retrograde, that's what it is. Okay, so as the Mercury goes back into Aquarius and will take us out of our feels, it's actually going to help us, like all the emotional understanding that we've had since Mercury went into Pisces and then went retrograde. Now that he steps back into Aquarius, is going to give us that objectivity, which is Aquarius, the ability to look at things from a sky view, from a bird's eye view, is going to shine light on what the bigger picture is here, and will start revealing things that have seemed secretive, but aren't. Then there will start to be things that have been elusive to us, like why does this keep happening to me, may start to become more concrete, may start to understand what that piece of it's like, oh, okay, that's what's been missing. Now let's flip these cards over here. So this first one here is the 8 of Earth, so that's the 8 of Pentacles. And the advice here is skilled work is rewarded, learning all there is to know about a topic, and going back to school, right? And so this could be focus on work, keep your head down and just keep working on it. This is it's 8 of Pentacles, so you're so close to your 10 of Pentacles, so don't give up kind of energy. Here you have 4 of Air, this is the 4 of Swords. Time to rest or take a vacation. Allow more time before making a decision. Meditation may provide answers. So this suggests that forever who has this, this is not a week for, anyway, it's Mercury retrograde. So if you can avoid signing anything or making big decisions, or, it's best to put that off. But this card is really saying to take the hands off the wheel and let things unfold, like to rest and reflect and let things happen as they're going to happen, particularly with this Mercury moving back into Aquarius, because we're going to get a whole new level of understanding of things this week. So just if someone's pressuring you to make a decision, just hang on. And then here we have the Chariot card. So an important achievement, self-discipline, and willpower, public recognition. So this is nice. This may be travel. This is moving forward, getting ready to go into battle, crossing distances. You know, this is a very nice card. So means you have the strength and the energy to face what needs to be faced. So yes, this is kind of like head down, do the work. This is hang on a second and reflect a little bit more. And this is you're about ready to head off into battle. So either way, however these things play out, should be a very interesting week. Wishing you the best, and I will see you at the next reading. Take care.